Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Unfortunately, I do have to go. I got something I gotta do. But I got a buddy of mine, you might not recognize him. I don't know, he's pretty lowbrow, but he's gonna be filling in for me. So, yeah, we'll just leave it to him. Hello everybody. I'm here in Nick's place. It's me, Bruce. It's me, Batman, and I'm just gonna be doing stuff that he does. I don't really know what he does, but we're just gonna be doing some stuff he does. I guess he put up some mysteries for us to solve because usually when I solve a lot of crime, but I'm gonna need my glasses for this because I can't see anything. He's gonna sit. Can I Here, let me do something real quick, so secret identities and whatnot. Let me just do this. Okay. I know you can't tell, but I just put my glasses on. I usually wear contacts when I'm, city saving and whatnot, but alright, let's do some mystery stuff. These are 5-minute mysteries, and we just gotta go in and we gotta solve some mysteries. Let's see what we got here. St. Patrick's Day, pearls, death in the theater. That one. I muttered to myself as my beeper went off. My double shift was almost over, and I was drinking my 6th cup of coffee at the all-night coffee shop down the street from the station to try and to stay awake. My beeper going off meant one thing and one thing only. Someone had been killed and I was needed. Normally, one of the other detectives would have gotten a call, but with a name like Maria Honduras, I was the only non-Irish detective on the small force here in Galloway. M.A. All the other detectives were off duty, happily celebrating St. Patrick's Day. I picked up my cell phone and called the station to get the details. Nancy Zinkham had been found murdered in her dressing room at the theater that evening. I was off. What do I do? Only registered users can solve mysteries. Alright, we've made an account now. I hope he doesn't mind that I used his email. Attempt this mystery. Oh, that's so dark. Suspect list. Helen Smith, Joanne Driscoll, Kevin Doyle, and Sarah Jones. Nancy was a huge celebrity comic who'd come up from Galloway. There's so much reading when it comes to being a detective. I thought I signed up to solve a murder, not retake 9th grade English. It's very small. Is there any way for me to, What did Catwoman send you? I muttered to myself as my beeper went off. My double shift was almost over and I was drinking my... I already read that. Nancy was a huge celebrity comic who came from the Galloway before making it on big TV. However, in keeping with her small-town roots, she loved to come back to perform 1 week a year in Galloway. Doing a great one-person stand-up routine for charity. Solving the murder was going to be a big deal. It was not just a make-or-break case, but Nancy had also been my best friend growing up. This was now personal, and staying awake was no longer going to be a problem. Quickly, I got to the small theater. What? What does that do? Whoa! Quickly, I got to the small theater and talked to the uniformed policeman standing outside the door in the dressing room. Hi, Tom. What have we got? I asked the patrolman I had known for many years. Hello, gorgeous. Tom has had a crush on me since grade school. Let me, With this line alone, I'm beginning to suspect that Tom doesn't realize I'm a man. Tom has had a crush on me since grade school. As usual, Nancy spent the entire day in her dressing room, alone. She arrived about 7 a.m. this morning with her yoga mat, her organic salad, and 2 bottles of water. I don't know what exonerates means. We can't exonerate Nancy. That's a terrible way to start the day. Her instructions are pretty simple. No one bothers her for any reason prior to the show. She just spends the entire day in her dressing room doing yoga and meditating and getting ready for the show. However, when she did not appear for the opening act, one of the stagehands went to check on her and found her dead in her dressing room. Who was back there in her dressing room today? I asked. No one was really sure, was the unfortunate reply. Hey, you want to not knock things off of his dresser? He's got, like, cat repellent somewhere around here. Alright. Prior to inspecting the dressing rooms, I talked to the theater manager, Dan Gallagher. Okay. Dan told me that there were 3 dressing rooms in the back. All were about the same size. Though usually the star got one and the other 2 were used for the remaining actors and actresses. Each dressing room had a bathroom, a small refrigerator, and a sink. That explained how Nancy was able to spend all day in her dressing room. I asked Dan who might have been in the dressing room that day. He told me that there was no real way to know. As lots of people who were back there throughout the day, there was a noticed video camera above the doorway to the dressing rooms. I asked Dan about it, and he told me that yes, there was a video in the hallway that we could check. I sent Dan and Tom to get the video. I told Tom to watch the video and fast forward from early this morning till now to see who went through that door. Meanwhile, I was going to inspect the scene of the crime. By this point, I was really regretting that 6th cup of coffee. I certainly did not need the caffeine to stay away. Now, my bladder was well past full. The bat bladder. There is so much reading here. And we're 4 minutes in. I might have to take a break from the bat mask. It's giving me a slight headache. Usually when I wear this thing it's super dark, but now it's so bright in here. By now, Tom and Dan were done looking at the video. Tom told me that there were 4 people who were in the dressing room area the entire day. Kevin Doyle, the owner of the theater. 2 actresses appearing in the next show, and cleaning lady. Each of them went separately and came out less than 10 minutes later. Unfortunately for me, all of them had been carrying something something large enough to hide a knife, so they were all suspects. None of them seemed like obvious choices, so I told Tom to round them all up and have them meet me in the station the next morning. At that point, the coroner had arrived and gave him the lay of the land. He promised me he would have some initial results to me in the interview suspects in the morning. So far, nothing incriminating. We just got our suspect list, and we're 5 minutes into this mystery. Before facing the 4 suspects, one of whom had killed an old friend of mine, I called the coroner to see if he had anything for me. He confirmed that Nancy was killed with a knife and that the time of death was late in the afternoon. That's not a time. That's an estimation. How do we incriminate him? Other than that, he had nothing as of now. There were no fingerprints on the scene and no other clues of a note. It was time to face the suspects in order they appeared in the video. First, I talked to the 2 actresses, Joanne Driscoll and Helen Smith. The 2 of them were co-starring in the next performance, a comedy, which was starting in 2 days. "What were you doing in the dressing area yesterday?" I asked them. They suddenly looked nervous. "We were rehearsing the rest of the cast all morning." The director had brought out the bagels, the best bagels along with the great selection of spreads, stammered Joanne. "Yes," Helen added. "I did not want them to go to waste." "Someone rehearsal broke for lunch around afternoon. Oh, oops. I took the leftovers to the refrigerator in the actress's dressing room." Whoa. Who did this? Helen. Did you happen to talk with Nancy? Hey, get out of there. Get out of there. There's no room for you in there. You're too fat. Get out of there. Is my cape still on? Okay. Did you happen to talk to Nancy? I asked her pointedly. No way. Joanne, what were you doing in the dressing room? I got tied up over some real new lines with the director. Since the lunch break was only half an hour, I did not have time to go out for lunch, so I ran to grab one of the leftover bagels. And no, I did not talk to Nancy. We're gonna exasperate her, whatever that word is, exonerate her, because she's being very, Who are we talking to right now? Joanne. She's being very already aggressive and kind of dismissive. Next, it was Kevin's turn. Any particular reason you would be in the dressing room yesterday? I asked calmly. Of course there is. As the theater owner, I make rounds several times a day of the entire theater. Among other things, I check to make sure that Tina, the cleaning lady, was doing her job. Before you ask, no, I did not happen to talk with Nancy at all yesterday. There's another one. On top of that, no, I did not have any reason to wish her ill will. Every year she came back and packed the theater every night for a week with her charity routine. Every penny from the sale of the tickets goes to charity, and her shows are the only ones all year that fill the house. Now, this is going to be terrible, but we're going to exonerate him here, whatever that means. Or maybe that's incriminating? Okay, so we meant incriminate with these. Incriminate Kevin Doyle, incriminate Joanne, and incriminate Helen. So, this is going to sound terrible, but I think there's some justification behind that. Or not justification, but reasoning behind why it could be him from that. Because I wonder if, out of spite, or he's angry, that she brings in all this attention, but none of it goes to him. It's going to charity, which as a decent human being, you and I can look at and see that that's a good thing. But this one time a year, he packs the crowd and he doesn't get the money? I don't know. Muttering under my breath that I was running out of possible suspects, it was time to talk to the cleaning lady. She was the last one in the dressing area. I asked her about why there were no fingerprints anywhere. My job is to make sure that everything is clean throughout the theater. I dust, vacuum, and empty the trash. I do my job well, though I never clean Nancy's dressing room while she is in there. She is always in it and does not want to be disturbed. I just clean it well before she arrives, and I clean it again when she leaves at the end of the week. No one goes in the dressing room but her. Something told me I needed to keep questioning the cleaning lady, so I kept after her. About a half an hour. Finally, one of the other detectives stuck his head in my room and asked if I wanted a cup of coffee. I snapped at him and told him no. I did not want a cup of coffee. I was solving a murder investigation. Then it hit me. I knew who did it. So I really don't think it was Sarah. Will you stop it? I don't think it was Sarah. I think Sarah, she does her job and she cleans. I feel like Sarah's way too obvious of an answer. I really want to say Kevin Doyle. Let's say Kevin. Yeah! 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 This is your first attempt. Being your first attempt at death in the theater, your score here is what will be used to your rankings and your points displayed on your profile. Feel free to keep solving mysteries over and over again until you get the right subsequent. Yeah, baby. Look at that. Okay, I took about 5 minutes longer than average. Clues possible? 5. Sick. Clues identified? 4. Whoa. Okay. Clues correct? Oh. But, as off the ball as I was, and my methods were a little unorthodox, I was correct. 40% of other sleuths came to the same conclusion. I am in the top 40%, which means 60% were wrong, which means I am the bat. I am vengeance. I am the one who knocks. You. Stop knocking stuff off of stuff and doing things I don't want you to do. So I guess this was an episode of Chef Plays. And remember, clean up your litter. Like, not cat litter, but, well, that too, but clean up your garbage off the streets. Don't rob banks. Don't hurt people. And will you stop it? And don't interrupt people when they're trying to record videos. All of those things will make me, the Batman, come after you. You don't want any of that. So, he's left me instructions on what to say. I hope you are having a good day. If you're watching early on, have a good rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one, and until then, vengeance.